Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak, and I'm COVID positive. My wife came home from work last week, and we had sort of a circus of things going on. Excuse me if I cough during this. I'm trying to not cough. She was working, and I was working day shift, and then had to turn around and do a night shift, shuttling doubles, and she texted me or called me and said, "Hey, I don't feel good, and I just tested positive for COVID." I was like, "Okay, well, me being the kind of person that is in contact with a lot of people at work, I reached out to my boss and said, "Hey, what do I need to do? Because she's been feeling kind of bad, and she just tested positive this morning. Does that mean that I need to quarantine?" And he said, "Yes." He said, "You need to stay at home for 5 days." And I was like, "Okay." Well, this was midweek, and I thought, okay, well, I can go back to work next week. That's not a big deal. I understand the importance of it. And I mean, because I'd come into contact with her, I did not want to give that to someone else. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just take it easy at the house. I do need to run by the grocery store, and I thought, I've only been exposed, so let me put on a mask and let me run to the store real quick and grab some stuff and just not come into contact with people as little as possible. Um, so during that, I went again and got supplies that we would need for the weekend, and got home and looked into taking care of her because she was not feeling well. She had a fever and sore throat, and she'd been coughing a lot. And I thought, well, let me get you some popsicles for your sore throat, and possibly some pudding that you could swallow because your throat is sore, but you're still hungry. That way it's a little easier to swallow. It might give you a little bit of energy, and stuff like that. So I came home and started taking care of her, and I was going to do a podcast this weekend, but in the process of this weekend, I started feeling bad. And I thought, well, crap. Here it is, coming around, and I don't feel the greatest. Big question mark. Am I getting sick? Do I have this? All of the worries and panics that we had before this happened was suddenly here in our house. And so, I've been kind of telling her, I said, I don't think I'm gonna get this. It's weird how you get sick and I don't get it, and I get sick and you don't get it. And this is probably one of those times where, you got COVID, but I won't get it. And just because of our proximity, we knew that I was probably exposed, but I was like, it'll be fine. Now, I did wake up one night in the middle of the night where she coughed in my face, and I felt, let's put it mildly, spittle all over my face. And I thought, yep, there it is. I just got it right there. And so that's probably exactly what happened. You know, it's one of those things where, you're married, you're already exposed, you signed up for the sickness and health part, and this is the sickness part. So, it is what it is. And so we've kind of gotten through it. I've watched a lot of stuff on TV, and this is the Stuff I Heard podcast. So let me go ahead and tell you what I heard about this. Okay. So originally, because I was exposed, I needed to quarantine for 5 days. And then when I came back to work, I need to wear a mask for 5 days. That way I wouldn't possibly transfer it to someone else, which I get. It makes sense. But now that I have tested positive, I had a fever Sunday, and I was taking medicine, or maybe it was a fever yesterday. I started coughing on Sunday, and then a fever yesterday. Was feeling hot, and it was possibly because we turned the air down in here because then it was hot outside, and I got a little too cold on the couch, and I put a blanket over me, and I started running hot, and I took my temperature, and it got up to 100.3. But then, I took the blankets off. I wasn't really cold anymore. We adjusted the thermostat. I ate some dinner. I felt better. Took my temperature a couple times before bed, and by the time I went to bed, it was back to normal. Um, I then took my temperature again this morning, and it was still normal. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I just had a little 24-hour bug. That's all. So I ran it by my mother, who's a nurse practitioner, and she said, you still need to go ahead and take a test just because you might have just healed really quickly from having it, but you still have it and you could possibly give it to other people. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. And we had a home test, so I took the home test. And within 5 minutes, it was already showing that I had it. And I was like, crap. So anyway, so I called work, and Now I'm out another 5 days. So yay. Um, yeah, unexpected. I would rather not be stuck inside. I mean, you want to save your days off for vacation, for going places, for experiencing stuff and being around people and, or being somewhere exotic and enjoying your time and not just sitting in the house and looking at the walls and going, "Ugh, this sucks." You know what I mean? And that's kind of in the state I'm in right now is I'm stuck inside and I don't feel 100%, so I don't feel like doing a lot. Um, I do feel better today than I did yesterday, but you can hear it in my throat, in my voice. I'm still not 100%. So I did watch a few things last week, and I want to share those with you. That way you kind of can find some fun stuff to do if you're in a similar situation as me. You can find something cool to watch on TV. Um, I watched a show on Amazon Prime called Turning Red. Um, I mean, no, I'm sorry. Turning Red was on Disney. I saw Turning Red with my wife. We watched it together. It was pretty good. The It was about a girl, turning 13 and going through puberty and the red panda thing was supposed to represent her getting her period and that sort of stuff. And it was cute. It was cute. I can see how possibly having this movie and having a daughter, it might be good to watch with your daughter whenever she does come of age or is around that time of coming of age. It was cute. Um, I also watched a show on Amazon Prime called Night Sky. This one is on Amazon Prime. Night Sky featuring Sissy Spacek and J.K. Simmons. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. There's a good cast on the show. It's a good storyline. It starts off really creepy. Basically, it starts off, and this is in the previews. I'm not going to give anything away. Irene and Franklin York have kept a secret chamber that leads to a deserted planet, but the arrival of an enigmatic man upends their quiet existence. And it just takes off from there. It gets pretty crazy pretty fast. Basically, they have a shelter or a shed in their backyard, and underneath their shed is this kind of like an alien chamber that you open a door to, and it teleports you like a kind of like a teleportation device, interdimensional elevator, if you will. And when they come to the other side, it's like a viewing area for another planet. It's crazy. Because right away the science fiction part of me is like, oh, ooh, I kind of like the unknown. This is kind of neat. This elderly couple that, they both seem like they're towards the end of their life. And then, suddenly this guy that the woman, Sissy Spacek's character, she finds this guy who's come through the portal and she takes him in and starts taking care of him. And there's more story that goes along with it, and it's really great. They're doing just the good enough job to get you interested and curious, and it expands to more and more stuff that happens that really is interesting. And I like it. I like the show. I'm into it. I got recommended this on Facebook. Someone I went to high school with made a comment that she watched it with her kids, and she was like, "This is really cool." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." So, thank you. I appreciate that. That was awesome. That was a good recommendation. You don't even know that you recommended it to me. I just saw your post. So, thank you. Um, and the other night, my wife had made a comment that when she was on her girls' cruise, she had started watching a movie on the ship. Um, it was about Aretha Franklin. And it's called RESPECT, Respect. Jennifer Hudson plays Aretha Franklin. Very good job, by the way. Mary J. Blige is in it. Marlon Wayans. I didn't even know that was Marlon Wayans. Forrest Whitaker, you'd notice him right away. Good cast. Lots of interesting characters. Mark Maron makes an appearance as Sandy Wexler, record producer. Very cool show. Tate Donovan's a small part in it. But it's mainly about her going through some hardship as a child. Her parents are separated. You kind of learn that her dad was, even though he was the head preacher of a big church and a big Southern Black rights movement, very close to Dr. Martin Luther King. He was also kind of an abusive man to be around, and she grew up through some rough stuff. Um, she had a kid when she was 12. Um, you know, not a great home environment overall, even though you can kind of see that she was loved and cared for, but there was times where things went wrong. And that's kind of the story for life, right? It happens to all of us. We all have an idea of what our perfect life is going to be, and it never turns out that way. No one has a perfect life, and if they do, I don't really trust them. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, you kind of need to go through some crap uh, to deserve respect from me. RESPCT, baby. So it shows her musical career. It shows her growing up, being able to sing when she was young, and then being able to get a record deal later on, and how it really didn't go well to start with, but then it turned better when she was in another abusive relationship with her first husband, a guy named Ted, and that's Marlon Williams. I didn't even know that was Marlon Williams. Like I had to wait until the credits were showing, and I was like, wait, was he? Oh my God, I didn't realize that was him. I mean, good job acting. Also, he's gotten older, and he looks, he doesn't look like he did when I watched him as a young movie star in his 20s. I mean, he's a grown man now. So, uh, very cool movie. Loved the music. Music was great. Jennifer Hudson killed it. She was awesome. So, um, let's see. What else did I watch? Westworld. Westworld on HBO now is in its fourth season. Um, this is a crazy, crazy, crazy show. Um, honestly, this is the wildest show that I watch out there because everything is so interesting and fast forwarded into the future that it is mind-boggling. Um, this was originally the movie. A movie was done about it in '73 by the same name, written and directed by Michael Crichton. Now, a lot of you go, wait, Michael Crichton, I know that name. Yeah, he's done all kinds of things like, a little movie known as Jurassic Park, uh, Congo, The Sphere. Uh, God, there's a bunch of them. He's got, I went through a Michael Crichton phase when I was in the Marine Corps, and it was a thing where I had time to sit and read whenever I had like my clothes. We had to share like a communal laundromat type thing. And I would, take my book, and I wasn't an avid reader, but I would take my book with me that I would get from the local PX, and I could get a Michael Crichton book for a couple bucks, and I would read his books. Now, typically, I've not been a good reader. I've been hesitant to get into reading because I have difficulty putting the words together. I have a version of dyslexia where sometimes when I'm reading things, I don't read them in the right direction. We found that out a little bit with our Marley Spoon stuff. It's come through at work at times where I get numbers upside down or backwards, or I go to say a sentence that I'm reading off of a board and I read it backwards. I read the facts backwards. But he has a way of writing that it just made sense to me. He was very um, focused in what he said and did a lot of research. And so reading his books were super easy for me. And it got to where I could read one of his books in a day. And that was really unheard of for me. But I could seriously go through a book a day. And I didn't even know that he did Westworld until I was Googling it. I got tabs open, kind of like Bert Kreischer has this portion of the show called Open Tabs. Yeah, this is Josh's version of Open Tabs, the COVID Open Tabs, folks. But yeah, so I'm looking at that. It's pretty cool. Go read some of his books. Look at some of the books that he's written. Matter of fact, I can go ahead and punch it in here. Michael Crichton um is his name spelled. So I just typed it into Google right away. The most popular movies based on books by Michael Crichton: Jurassic Park, Congo, the second Jurassic Park, um, Sphere, Terminal Man, The 13th Warrior, The Other Jurassic Park, Disclosure, Rising Sun, um, what's that called? The Andromeda Strain, The Great Train Robbery, more Jurassic Parks. Future World, um, the Carrie treatment. Don't even know what that is. Twister, Westworld, Coma, Looker, Runaway, Physical Evidence. Yeah, he's done a lot. He's been uh, quite the creator. And like I said, for whatever reason, his books were just made so that I could read them easy. I don't know how he writes. I don't know if it's any thought process that goes into it, but the way he writes, it makes it easier for me to comprehend and understand and kind of move through. So shout out to Michael Crichton and shout out to the creators at Westworld. I'm sure that where you guys are taking it is far beyond whatever Michael Crichton could even come up with. I mean, he basically laid the blueprint, but you guys have ran with it, and it's a really fascinating show. For those who don't know, season one starts off where every episode begins the same, with the same things happening over and over and over again, and you realize pretty quickly that people are in the future and they're paying money, big money, to go to this amusement park where they enter the Wild West. And there are characters who are androids, and you can interact with them much like you do a video game. You can you can murder them, you can abuse them, you can have fun with them, whatever. There's no consequences. Um, but the underlying element of it was that the company that came up with the idea was using your information, your private stuff that you were getting away with, and sort of manipulating the system so that they could get more money out of you or to get more trade secrets or whatever. They would use the information they gathered to then advance their company. Little did they know, dun dun dun, the androids within the system were learning. They were developing an AI inside of itself and they were learning how to fight back. And they did. And it just gets crazier from there. So, like I said, this is season four. I don't know how far they're going to continue to take this. It's a crazy, crazy show. Um, let's see, this season, do 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 do. You've got Evan Rachel Wood is your main cast. She comes up first. Jeffrey Wright, uh, Thandawi Newton, and Ed Harris, James Marsden, Tessa Thompson. Um, Phenomenal cast. Aaron Paul is in this season. Anthony Hopkins was in the beginning. Ben Barnes is in this. Jimmy Simpson. There's a lot of characters in this that when you see them right away, you're going to go, "Oh, I've seen them in all sorts of things." Luke Helmsworth. I wonder if he's related to Thor. Let's click on him. Let's see what it says. Parents, siblings. Yep, Liam and Chris Helmsworth. Oh, okay. How about that? Old Luke Helmsworth has got Thor and what's his name as his brothers. No competition there. There's a tab down here that says, "Are there four brothers?" It has been said to some that the most handsome of the four Helms brothers, da, 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 Larry Helmsworth. Mm, okay, so there's four brothers, maybe Hemsworth. Hemsworth. Why do I keep calling him Helmsworth? Hemsworth. Hems Worth. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Um, Jeffrey Wright is quickly becoming one of my favorite actors in anything. I mean, he's doing a little bit of everything. We've seen him in Hunger Games. We've seen him in Westworld. We've seen him in God, what else is he in? All sorts of stuff. I think he's in the Marvel universe. He's the voice of the Watcher in the animated show What If. Um, and I mean, come on, put him in a doggone Star Wars movie already. He's quite the character, quite the actor. Uh, yeah, yeah. He got an Emmy. I'm reading here. He got an Emmy for the role of Belize in the Broadway production of Angels in America. and I guess it's also on HBO as a miniseries. Um, he's an incredible actor. But anyway, so and Ed Harris always delivers. I mean, in this he's sort of season one he's the bad guy. This season he's not so much. I mean, we've seen Ed Harris in all sorts of things. Apollo 13, Truman Show, Pollock, The Hours. Um, one of my favorites, The Abyss. Fantastic character. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to kind of talk to you guys about some stuff that I watched and the fact that I have COVID. And if you're stuck inside, here's some stuff you can watch. I also watched a movie that came on Netflix recently called The Gray Man with Ryan Gosling and Captain America. What's it? Chris Evans. Yeah. And it was good. It was fun. I don't want to spoil anything about it. Um, it's one of those that you could watch and oh, this is cool, and then it's gone, and whatever. It's not going to stay with you. It's not one of those. It's not like Westworld. It's an action movie, and it's got some funny parts, but it's okay. It's okay. So anyway, um, yeah, I know they spent a lot of money making it. There's a lot of explosions, a lot of cool tech, a lot of cool car chase scenes, a lot of violent encounters. But yeah, it was okay. It was okay. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I feel the urge to cough, and I don't want to cough in you guys' ear. So take care, and as always, cue the cat.
So I want you guys to give me more likes. Give me more likes!